Morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. So it's continued to rain. I've got a storm coming in today, so I don't think we're going to make much progress for the next few days. But we have managed to do some remedial action, so we're only concentrating on the light land. Still got plenty of standing water on the heavy land. So we have attacked the compaction left by the digestate spreader. So we've lifted those tram lines out with a shakerator, a bit of a subsoiler, and then we've come in here with the Claydon, and this land has a much higher flint content, and we really struggle with this compared to the rest of the fields. They are much more chalk based, whereas this one in the foreground is much more flint based. And so been through with the Claydon. There you can see the seed. It's already chitting, so that's a good sign. It's pretty deep, but one thing we struggled with in the spring is land drying out. Obviously hard to imagine in the current conditions, but it splits down the coulter line, and therefore we want to get as much of a friable surface. I managed about 5 hectares here, and well, we'll just push on as soon as where the conditions allow. Just to remind you, we've got 2 years of data. Both have shown you're better off going with soil conditions than you are on date. So I am using that every time I want to dash out and do some drilling. I think about that, but we're getting about an inch a week at the current rate. I mean, even on this light land, you can still get a sausage out of this stuff. So you can see plenty of smear in the channels here. You know, it's still, it's still pretty sausagey. So a real challenging year, and my heart goes out to all the farmers, especially in the Midlands and in the breadbasket East Anglia. You seem to be getting it even harder than we are, but it's a real challenging year. So one of the things we're also trialing this spring to work on that friable surface is we are trying to cultivate here. This is the field that we did a pass with the Cousins cultivator. There you go, there's a nice flint. There you go. Obviously we went this way with the Cousins. These are our usual tram lines, but we are drilling at a different line this time to try and break up. It didn't do complete ground movement, and you can see the tine marks, and this bit, the unmoved bit in the middle, is quite firm, this bit here. So we're trying to go at an angle to try and create a bit more of a friable surface, which looks all right, and that's why we're using the Claydon here, because on the fields on the other side with the chalk, we'll just go through with the moor. Now, I had a question about yield for the 2 different drills, and I'll just go to my John Deere screen and show you what the answer to the question was. Referring back to my video I posted in March 2022, Richard Matthews asked a question about the difference in spring oat yield between drilling with a tined Claydon and the more disc drill. I haven't got a perfect comparison, but I've done my best. Here are two fields featured in the video. Badger's Home drilled on the 18th of March and the Hale drilled on the 19th of March, so only a day's difference. In Badger's Home we used the Claydon and in the Hale we used the Moor. Although these fields are adjacent, the Hale is chalk based and Badger's Home is more flinty. The soil also gets thinner as you travel uphill to the south. So to keep the comparison as even as possible, I've only used the stronger northern half of the field in Badger's Home. However, using the John Deere comparison feature, you can see that the Hale and the disc drill Moor achieve 7.4 tonnes per hectare and Badger's Home and Claydon achieved 6.7 tonnes per hectare. All other treatments were the same. I would say, in my opinion, the Hale is a slightly better field, but not 0.7 tonnes a hectare better. Therefore, I suggest a significant difference is down to the use of the disc drill. Interestingly, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but quite clearly you can see lines of green in this stubble. And this would be where we've been through with the cultivator. You can see, and I'm guessing that this is black grass rather than wheat. It certainly looks like black grass. So it's worth saying, I've just figured it out, the green lines are not from the cultivator, they are from the digestate spreading. So there is a bit of damage where it's been used to cart, but on the rest of the field where it's just been the application, I don't think it's looking too bad post digestate spreading. I think proportionally it will be a relatively small amount of the field that's actually damaged, and as you can see from here, one of our tram lines where we've drilled over the tram line, very little damage at all really. And I'm quite pleased with this wheat. It's coming along quite nicely now. Obviously it's got a good strong colour, which isn't bad for chalk, but yeah, T-noughts were planned for last week. They haven't been applied, suffering a wind at the moment, which I'm sure you can hear, so apologies for that, but it's just a shame, like the rest of the country, that we haven't managed to get more winter crops in. So talking of winter crops, let's take a look at our winter beans, which were drilled a bit early, see how they're getting on. So I'm now in a field of winter beans. This was planted in the first week of October, so I just wanted there was a lot of debate at the time about whether it was too early, and it's looking a fantastic crop, so just want to go through a couple of issues we're having with it. So firstly, as you can see, it's just coming out in flower, so we'll come back to that in a second. But obviously this is a tram line here, but wherever it's a bit more open, we're getting quite a lot of cleavers, and it's a bit of an issue because controlling cleavers in beans is quite difficult. We were going to use some basogram, but with the flowers it's too late. And interestingly, you can see some chocolate spot sneaking in as well. So we did have for this week planned, we had it planned for last week, but we just haven't been able to get on with either the rain or the wind. But time is definitely ticking now. I want to get on with the chocolate spot spray. And we had an additional issue that if we went on with the basogram, it de-waxes the leaf, and then we would have had another week's delay before we could get on with the chocolate spot spray. So we've decided, what with the flowering, that we won't go ahead, that we're going to chance our arm with the beloved cleavers. There they go. I could well regret that decision come harvest, but that's part of one of the choices we're having to make in this difficult season. Lots of compromises with timings, and it's just a very unusual year, one undoubtedly that we will tell future generations about. Remember the year of 24. But overall, the beans are looking great, even as we go further into the field and away from the headland. Plenty of beans in flower, and they're all coming up sort of mid-knee height here. And what I like about it is that there's plenty of height between the ground and the first flowers. I would say 6 to 8 inches. So plenty of chance for the combine to cut below where the pods start, where the flowers start, and plenty of chance to get underneath. So pretty good. Part of a 30 hectare block here, so plenty for us to go at. So I hope you've enjoyed this compilation of videos about where we're up to at the moment. Hopefully normal business will resume next week when we start drilling for real, and more videos to follow. So please give this video a thumbs up, click on the bell to subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.